Jananeem Sharadam Devi Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukaswarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. Yeah, before starting, probably I thought I will tell around 5 minutes or maybe something about Ramanujacharya. Today, Ramanujacharya's Jayanti. Yesterday also it was very holy day. That is Shankaracharya. Shankara Panchami we say. Actually, Ramanujacharya and Shankaracharya both are born on the same day. I think because of the Tithi thing, today it has come. Yesterday Shankaracharya Jayanti, today is Ramanacharya Jayanti. Otherwise, both come in same day. Both are great spiritual illuminaries. Ramanujacharya, if you see, he was one of the greatest devotee. And not only that, he was deep in his spiritual practices, in his devotional practices, and at the same time, he was quite magnanimous heart or broadness he had. That is the beauty. Generally, when we go deep in a spiritual life or in any of our practices, we become narrow-minded actually. Some people are very broad in their outlook, they will be shallow. So if you see in the Ramanacharya's case, he was deep like ocean and he was broad like a sky. It's broad means broad mind or broad heart. So much so that he got Navakshari mantra or Ashtakshari mantra. Ashtakshari, I think, sorry. Yeah. That is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So he was initiated from his guru into this mantra. And the guru told, it is a very divine mantra. By chanting, you will go to Vaikunta, you will go to the abode of Narayana, but be careful, you should not tell others. Then, as a young boy, Ramacharya asked, why should I not tell to others? Oh, because if by telling others, you will go to hell. But it is a very divine mantra. So by giving this or by telling this, how will I go to hell? Oh, because they may not be interested or they may not have devotion. Because of that, you will go to hell. Then after the initiation, he paid his respects to his guru. He came out and he went to the temple, Srirangam temple, Gopuram. And very high, because in those days mics and all are there. And he shouted, oh people, please come. I have found a key. I have found a way to go to Vaikunta, to go to heaven, to go to the abode of Vishnu. How to go? Then people started coming one by one. Everyone were dumbfounded. What is he going to do and all? His guru was furious, but he gave a mantra, Ashtakshari mantra to everyone, and he said, from today onwards, start chanting this. From today onwards, by this, all your sins will be clean. Abode of Lord Vishnu. Then when he comes down, he was summoned by his guru. Guru was very angry and he asked, why did you do this, fool? By this, I do not know. You will be going to the best among the hells. If there are different hells, you will go to best hell actually. And you have to suffer long time. You have done a great sin like that. Ramacharya says, my dear guru, if this mantra by giving, if hundreds of people, thousands of people are getting redeemed from the problems, if they get mukti or Vaikunta, I do not mind by going to hell. Such a broad-mindedness or unselfishness. By going alone to the hell, I don't mind. Hundreds of people will be getting blessed. Hundreds of people will be able to go to Vaikunta or have the darshan of Lord Vishnu or Lord Narayana. So the guru was dumbfounded. He understood his intention and he pardoned. So it is not any show off here. Rather, it was naturally it came his broad-mindedness or that compassion for every being. The compassion not because for name and fame, desire for name and fame or power, position, celebrity. No, it came naturally to help the people. Because everyone is what? Son or daughter or children of Lord Vishnu. So by helping his disciples, by helping his children, it is helping him only. Vaishnava Seva, they say. So doing the seva of the devotees, it is doing the seva of Lord Vishnu himself or Lord himself. So Lord will be more pleased by serving his children. So when we go to any monasteries or ashramas or any place, when we are doing any volunteer service, we should think this. So by doing all these things, I am trying to please my chosen deity or the Lord. That's the one thing. And one more very interesting thing is, it also happens in Srirangam. By the time he was quite famous, he had taken monasticism, he had taken monastic vows and all. One fine day, he was about to enter to the temple, Srirangam temple. I don't know how many of you have seen. If you see, Srirangam temple is like a village, a big village or a town like. He entered and there were some noise was happening. Then he encouraged his disciples, please go and find out what is happening. Then there was a Brahmin who was fighting with the people to give more prasad actually. In India, generally, they give in a packets actually, most of the temples. In some temples, they will ask you to sit and have the food completely. There are 2 or 3 packets was given already, but he was demanding for more. Then he was asked, why are you demanding for more? He said, I have got a family and I don't have a job. So my wife and 6 or 7 children are suffering. So as a result, you have to give more. But the temple authorities were not ready to give more packets. So he came, the disciple came and informed Ramacharya. Then Ramacharya asked the disciple to call that fellow. Then Brahmin was called. Then he made pranams to sadhus, how they do in their tradition. Then he asked, why are you fighting? Oh no, I need a food. I don't mean to fight, but I need food for my starving family and etc. He explains. Then Ramacharya says, my dear, why don't you work? He said, being a Brahmin, unfortunately, I didn't study Vedas. I don't know mantras. Hence, I am unable to get any job, suitable job. Then Ramacharya starts asking, what do you know? Vedas? No. Any Upanishads? No. Then Agamas? No. Then Prabandhams, they say, Tamil in songs and all. Do you know? He said, no, mostly. Then Ramacharya was also feeling a bit helpless. Oh, this fellow doesn't know anything. Then suddenly he said, my dear, I know Vishnu Sahasranam. Then Ramacharya was very happy. He said, all right, you chant Vishnu Sahasranam, let me see. Then he said, Vishvam Vishnur Vashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Bhuta Bhavya, and he stopped. Not even completely 1 or 2 shlokas, he could chant. Ramacharya asked, what happened, my dear? He said, sorry, sir, I only know this much. Then instead of getting angry, Ramacharya said, all right, now Bhuta Bruk, whatever you said, that is the name of the Lord Vishnu. The meaning, you know, what is the meaning? He takes care of the entire world. So when you are part of the creation and the entire world, you also will be taken care by Lord Vishnu. So take this nama, take this word as a mantra and keep repeating every day. Om Bhuta Prithave Nama, Om Bhuta Prithave Nama, like that he keeps on chanting. Then after a few weeks, when Sri Ramacharya suddenly remembers about this fellow and he inquires with the temple authorities, is he coming and is he asking for prasad? They said, interestingly, nowadays he's not coming and is not creating trouble. Then Ramacharya also thought what happened to him, but anyhow he didn't get information. He sent his disciples. Then when they went to his house was locked. Then Ramacharya thought probably this fellow was left somewhere. Then maybe after a few months, when Ramacharya went out from Srirangam on some work, on the bank of Kaveri, while he was walking with his disciples, suddenly one fellow came and he did Dirghadanda Pranam, Sastang Pranam he did. Then Ramacharya, he remembers he has seen him, who are you, etc. Then that fellow explains or describes the earlier incident. Then Ramacharya also was happy to say, and he said, I was bothered about you, I was inquiring about you. My disciple said that the house is locked. How are you? Where are you? What happened to you? Then he said, my dear sir, because of you, I am happy and I am doing well. What happened? Now, did you get a job? No, sir. Then how are you able to manage your food? Sir, you have made such a beautiful arrangement. Then why should I bother? Ramacharya said, what? What did I make arrangement? I have not made any arrangement. He He said, sir, you have made arrangement. It seems every day a person is coming and he is bringing the food for us from the temple prasad. So we are able to quench our hunger and we are having a simple life. And meanwhile, few days before, Ramacharya had heard a complaint from the temple authorities that a good amount of prasad is getting missed from the temple. However, they tried to know, but they were unable to find out how it is getting lost. Then Ramacharya was, astonished to hear this, and he asked, who is coming? He said, a young chap, young boy is bringing everyday food. Then Ramacharya is trying to understand. Then he asked, do you remember what is his name? Then this fellow scratched his head for some time. Then he said, I think once I asked him, he said his name is Sriranga. His name is Sriranga, because that's quite common names in those places. Then Ramacharya understood Lord Narayana, Lord Vishnu himself is coming in that form, in the disguise of that boy, young chap, and is bringing prasad from Srirangam temple. Now he could link the dots. That's how the Srirangam, the prasad in Srirangam temple is also getting less, or some portion is getting disappeared. Why? Because Lord himself is bringing the food and he is providing the food for this family. And Ramacharya was very happy and he blesses him. So he was a guileless man. In the worldly sense, he was useless, totally useless. But by the blessings of the Acharya, Ramacharya, by taking the Lord's name and sincerely by doing japa, his problems have been cleared. So this is how Guru and Acharyas, they can show the path for us. And the mantra, the efficacy of the mantra you can understand by taking the Lord's name sincerely, so his problem solved. So either moksha mukti or bhukti or mukti, either worldly problems or the spiritual problems, both can be subsided, both can be handled, both can be dissolved like a ice in front of a sun. All the difficulties can be removed, diminished by the God's grace. How? By doing the japa, sincerely doing a japa as much as possible. So this Lord, great Ramacharya, there are so many incidents like this. So we shall pay our respects to Sri Ramacharya and seek his blessings, so that we shall also have devotion at our chosen deity and we shall be steadfast in our devotional practices. Thank you. Let us come to Colombo to Almora now. Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj. Actually, I was thinking that today being Ramanuja Jayanti, whether we will be discussing. So, we are following the book Lectures from Colombo to Almora, 33rd reprint, June 2011, and we will start from page number 135. Shall I start reading?
Yeah, please.
Did India ever stand in want of reformers? Do you read the history of India? Who was Ramanuja? Who was Shankara? Who was Nanak? Who was Chaitanya? Who was Kabir? Who was Dadu? Who were all these great preachers, one following the other, a galaxy of stars of the first magnitude? Did not Ramanuja feel for the lower classes? Did he not try all his life to admit even the pariah to his community? Did he not try to admit even Mohammedans to his own fold? Did not Nanak confer with Hindus and Mohammedans and try to bring about a new state of things? They all tried, and their work is still going on. The difference is this: they had not the fanfaronade of the reformers of today. They had no curses on their lips as modern reformers have. Their lips pronounced only blessings. They never condemned. They said to the people that the race must always grow. They looked back and they said, "O Hindus, what you have done is good, but my brothers, let us do better." They did not say, "You have been wicked, now let us be good." They said, "You have been good, but let us now be better." That makes a whole world of difference. We must grow according to our nature. Vain is it to attempt the lines of action that foreign societies have engrafted upon us. It is impossible. Glory unto God that it is impossible that we cannot be twisted and tortured into the shape of other nations. I do not condemn the institutions of other races. They are good for them, but not for us. What is meat for them may be poison for us. This is the first lesson to learn. With other sciences, other institutions, and other traditions behind them, they have got their present system. We, with our traditions, with thousands of years of karma behind us, naturally can only follow our own bent, run in our own grooves, and that we shall have to do.
Yeah.
So,
So,
there were many reformers in the past, but they all have a positive attitude,
mhm.
and we shall follow that positive attitude. That is the way, and we should progress in line with our own traditions. No blind imitation of other societies or countries. That is the thing.
Yes. Any other observations from other members? So here, keeping the history in the mind, we should always understand from lectures from Colombo to Almora. When Swamiji is speaking, it was a British India, and there were a lot of reform movements: Brahma Samaj, Arya Samaj, Sana Samaj, Theosophical Society, and so on and so forth. Some are good, no doubt, but many of them were trying to criticize that Indian systems are not good, Indian philosophy is outdated, or it is with full of superstitions and etc. Whereas whatever is coming from foreign country, everything is good, everything is right. Mostly, they were, if not all, many were speaking like that. And also they were saying that we should follow the Western methods, we should also introduce their systems in our country. So keeping that in the mind, Swamiji is telling, look, if you want to reform the India, fine. But in India, we never had any lack of reformers. And he gave the list of reformers starting from Shankaracharya to Guru Nanak. So we don't need reforms from outside. We have got enough reformers ourselves. And what was their plan of action? They never criticized. By and large, they never criticized. Rather, positively, they encouraged people. All right, you are good. Why don't you strive for better and best? So they never criticized. Rather, they were always encouraging. So this is one important point we should understand. All these great prophets and incarnations, the real prophets and incarnations, they never criticized mostly. Here and there, they may be there. But by and large, they didn't do it. Rather, they encouraged us to become better human beings. And that is also my plan of action, Swamiji clears afterwards. Swamiji means Swami Vivekananda. And after telling this, he said very clearly that every country, every civilization has its own ways. And we have our own ways based on the history and all. So we should not imitate others blindly. Any best thing, good things are there in any other country, civilization, religions, we shall accept it. We shall assimilate and we shall grow in our own way. Because there is some good thing you saw in another religion, that doesn't mean that we should leave our religion. We should leave our things and we should not blindly imitate others. That's what Swamiji is trying to tell here. Yeah.
What is my plan then? My plan is to follow the ideas of the great ancient masters. I have studied their work, and it has been given unto me to discover the line of action they took. They were the great originators of society. They were the great givers of strength and of purity and of life. They did most marvelous work. We have to do most marvelous work also. Circumstances have become a little different, and in consequence, the lines of action have to be changed a little, and that is all. I see that each nation, like each individual, has one theme in this life, which is its center, the principal note, round which every other note comes to form the harmony. In one nation, Political power is its vitality, as in England, artistic life in another, and so on. In India, religious life forms the center, the keynote of the whole music of national life, and if any nation attempts to throw off its national vitality, the direction which has become its own through the transmission of centuries, that nation dies if it succeeds in the attempt. And therefore, if you succeed in the attempt to throw off your religion and take up either politics or society or any other things as your center, as the vitality of your national life, the result will be that you will become extinct. To prevent this, you must take all and everything, work through that vitality of your religion. Let all your nerves vibrate through the backbone of your religion. I have seen that I cannot preach even religion to Americans without showing them its practical effect on social life. I cannot preach religion in England without showing the wonderful political changes the Vedanta would bring. So, in India, social reform has to be preached by showing how much more spiritual a life the new system will bring. And politics has to be preached by showing how much it will improve the one thing that the nation wants, its spirituality. Every man has to make his own choice. So has every nation. We made our choice ages ago and we must abide by it. And after all, it is not such a bad choice. Is it such a bad choice in this world to think not of matter but of spirit, not of man but of God? That intense faith in another world, that intense hatred for this world, that intense power of renunciation, that intense faith in God, that intense faith in the immortal soul is in you. I challenge anyone to give it up. You cannot. You may try to impose upon me by becoming materialist, by talking materialism for a few months, but I know what you are. If I take you by the hand, back you come as good theists as ever were born. How can you change your nature?
Yeah.
So, anyone else want to?
So, religion and spirituality is India's core. So, our reform must begin with spirituality. And
Yeah. Yes. That's what Swamiji tells. I mean, he has told this quite time and again in the lectures from Colombo to Almora. So I'm not going into too many details. So just I will brush upon here. So then, after discussing about the earlier reforms and all, then he asked, if you think I also as a reformer, then what is my plan of action? If you ask, he says, I also follow my other previous masters. That is encouraging people to become better. I am positive in my plan of action, not negative. He is saying very clearly. That is the beauty of Swamiji's plan of action. All right. And he is saying that there, well, you may say Shankaracharya time different, Ramanacharya's time different, Buddha's time was different, your time is different and all. Yeah, some changes are there, no doubt, but basic human problems and basic human suffering, more or less, it is going same. Stress, strain, emotional problems, interpersonal relationships, ethics and morality, whatever you see, the human problems, the basic human problems, more or less, are same. That's what Swamiji means. And what is the key or the core of the Indian life, in Indian way of life, if you ask, it is religion. Religion means here spirituality also includes. Religion means it is not only just going to some temple or rituals and all. That is also included. Here religion also includes spirituality. So religion and spirituality is the nerve center of the Indian life. Now every country has its own nerves. Like Greece and Rome, if you see, military was their thing. And if you see Europe, especially, or England, it was politics. And if you see America, it was always money, consumeristic society there, even now. So money is the nerve center of their country. And for good or bad reason, that's how they have developed. And India also has developed. Our nerve center is what? Religion. That doesn't mean that we have neglected other things. That doesn't mean that we didn't develop in other aspects. It might have been done all, but our nerve center is what? Religion and spirituality. So if you want to bring any development in India, that has to be done through in religion and spirituality. And he's giving beautiful things, and also he speaks of America. If you see America, any Vedanta you tell, immediately Swami Vivekananda himself spoke practical Vedanta. In India also is coming now. I mean, people are asking what is the use and all. So when I ask you to study Vedanta, Swami, what is the use for me? Even people are asking. So the always utilitarianist from the philosophical point, the Americans more or less. And from England is speaking, they always think how there will be a change in society. Actually, if you read the history of Indian philosophy and Western philosophy, 17th, 18th, 19th century, especially in the West, we can very well see how politics has influenced philosophy and how philosophy has influenced politics. It is quite interesting to study. So when we read all these things, when we read Swamiji's statements, how Swamiji was able to understand all these things and put in a few sentences, it is quite interesting to understand. And Swamiji again is telling very clearly, these are the great statements. That intense faith in another world, that intense hatred for this world, that intense power of renunciation, that intense faith in God, intense faith in the immortal soul is in you. So one should have a faith in oneself first and foremost, then God and other things. That is what Swamiji is trying to tell. So how is he going to execute his plan, if you ask? He is saying, I am trying to invoke, awaken the faith in yourself. If that is established, then the faith in God can happen. Swamiji goes to the extent saying that if you don't have faith in yourself, then definitely you cannot have faith in God at all. Sharanagati means it is not inferiority complex. Sharanagati doesn't mean that lack of confidence. Rather, understanding the limitations of myself. Sharanagati is not neither inferiority complex nor I cannot do anything. No, it is only understanding one's own limitation and surrendering to the God, actually. So Swamiji is speaking from the Vedantic point of view. So my plan of teaching, my plan of action is what? Teaching the faith in everyone. Shraddha. Shraddha avivesha soa manyata. We see Kathopanishad Tuesday classes. There, when Nachiketa saw the wrongdoing of his father, Shraddha entered in him. That is the beauty. Any contributor person, he never keep on criticizing people, society, system. Rather, he thinks, all right, there's a problem, an issue. How can I rectify it? What can I do so that these problems can be reduced? This is what the contributor mindset. Swamiji is also telling, I would like to bring intense faith, awaken the intense faith in you, in yourself, in God, in heaven, and in the next life, or etc. That is the beauty. That's where Rajagopalacharya says, Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda are the builders of the modern India and Hinduism. Without them, we would have lost our country and religion. So what did do Swamiji do? He actually at the root level, these all spiritual people, they work. Either Buddha, Guru Nanak, Shankaracharya, Ramanacharya, what they do, they try to, solve the problem at the root level. If you see any river at the origin, it can be very small actually, but slowly it becomes quite a big river. So that small river, when you see its origin, it is like even a tap water. What is going to happen from this? We may wonder actually, but in due course of time, we see such a huge river it turns into. That's how at spiritual level, at the ideas level, at the spiritual power, these acharyas and these great people, they have worked. That's the reason their philosophies are still carrying on hundreds of thousands of years afterwards. Still we read, because they have worked at the root level, not at the surface level. If you work at the surface level, momentarily you may be successful, you may be celebrity, but after a 50 or 100 years, you will become obsolete. Yeah. So intense faith, Swamiji speaking, Shraddha. That Shraddha has to be developed. Yeah, Partha?
You are muted. You are muted.
Sorry, not just Swami, Professor to you. Just had a one basic sort of question. I think you said that there's a need to sort of explain it to people because people, even without the knowledge, are asking what is it, what does it, I mean, how would I benefit? So just I'm kind of curious to get sort of some kind of guidance here. Like nowadays, we don't teach these things in our schools and in our colleges, right? So earlier they used to be taught. So I've seen people who were brought up in pre-British, pre-independence India. Like they learned a lot of these things at their school, at their homes. It was part of the culture. Nowadays, it's not there. And especially people who are studying in schools which uh, do not teach in the Indian languages in India. I'm talking about in schools in India. And for them, they are even like one step removed further. So how, I mean, is there a need to reintroduce some of these things at the school level, or how is it that we can inculcate this culture so that young people have the right sort of attitude, but not like the extremely disrespectful, hostile sort of an attitude which is now developing thanks to social
Okay,
media
okay.
and
Be
all this?
short at your questions. Yeah, be short in your questions. Yeah, it is good always, and I think we are in the national education policy in India now. A lot of things they are trying to introduce, no doubt. But yes, if you ask me in education, all these things should be inculcated in whatever possible way. But again, we may discuss, we may write to the letters to the government and all, but it is a government's will also. That may take some time. So what can we do at the given circumstance, if you ask? First and foremost, I always say to the parents should give this culture to their children. They, especially Hindu parents, they bring the desire. They tune their student children to become good doctors, engineers, IAS officers, earn money, and have a comfortable life. That's good. But along with that, they should also make an attempt to teach, to give the Hinduism to the children. Whereas in other religions, when they are able to give to their children, and why are we not able to give? It is a mistake of our parents. I feel very seriously about this. One thing. And if not, there are so many ashramas and so many organizations are ready to do the weekly classes, like Sunday classes. For example, I know in Ramakrishna Mission, there are so many Balak Sangha and Balika Sanghas are happening. Chinmay Mission is doing. Sai Baba institutions are doing. Amritandama institutions are doing. Like that, so many NGOs are trying to teach weekly classes for 1 or 2 hours, either freely or with minimal amounts, with minimum amounts. Why can't we send, if we cannot teach, if we don't know and we teach, why can't we take our children to that such type of classes so that they will get engaged and they will get exposed to our Indian culture? So it is not simply, I mean, I'm sorry to say this, simply people say, oh, no one told us, and that's the reason we didn't tell our children or etc. But who told us to earn money? Who told us to go to foreign countries and I mean, have a better life? No one. That was not in our education system. Because we felt the necessity, we did it. So similarly, if you feel necessity for all these things, there are a lot of opportunities for us to know and for us to teach. If we don't know, definitely we should take our children to go for to do such type of vocational training or the Sunday classes, value education classes, and we should make sure that our children get exposed. Now you give them, it is up to them to use or to follow it. It is up to them when they grow up. But during their I mean, adolescent age or childhood age, we should give. That's what I always see that. I always say this. For example, here we are alternative weeks, we are running Balgokulam classes. So, I mean, it is free of cost. Only 15 or 20 children are coming. So many Hindu families are there. Why they are unable to come? Oh, there we have got a friend's party, Swamiji. We are busy, Swamiji. And all. They are ready to send for karate class. They are ready to send for swimming. They are ready to send for chess competition practice, drawing and all. I'm not saying that you should not do all that. But along with this, why can't you send for these things? So I think parents should take a responsibility here, I feel, Partha.
Thank you, Swami.
So, every improvement in India requires first of all an upheaval in religion. Before flooding India with socialistic or political ideas, first deluge the land with spiritual ideas. The first work that demands our attention is that the most wonderful truths confined in our Upanishads, in our scriptures, in our Puranas, must be brought out from the books, brought out from the monasteries, brought out from the forests, brought out from the possession of selected bodies of people, and scattered broadcast all over the land, so that these truths may run like fire all over the country, from north to south and east to west, from the Himalayas to Comorin, from Sindh to the Brahmaputra. Everyone must know of them, because it is said, this has first to be heard, then thought upon, and then meditated upon. Let the people hear first, and whoever helps in making the people hear about the great truths in their own scriptures cannot make for himself a better karma today. Says our Vyasa, in the Kali Yuga there is one karma left. Sacrifice and tremendous tapasyas are of no avail now. Of karma one remains, and that is the karma of giving. And these gifts, the gift of spirituality and spiritual knowledge is the highest. The next gift is the gift of secular knowledge. The next is the gift of life, and the fourth is the gift of food. Look at this wonderfully charitable race. Look at the amount of gifts that are made in this poor country. Look at the hospitality where a man can travel from the north to the south, having the best in the land, being treated always by everyone as if he were a friend, and where no beggar starves so long as there is a piece of bread anywhere.
Yeah.
So, here Vedantic knowledge must be spread to the masses, and he mentioned about that Sravana Manana Nididhyasana, that is there.
Yeah.
And giving is the highest karma. He is talking about giving, and their highest gift is spirituality, then comes education, then saving life, and then lastly it is the giving food. Also he is mentioning about Atiti Devo Bhava, that is the central idea of our land.
Yeah. So if you see, first and foremost, actually, because of, according to, this is my personal opinion, of course, I always feel after the advent of Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda, the religion and spirituality, and apart from that, Vedanta is so easily accessible to all of us. Probably 100 years before or 150 years before, Ramayana, Mahabharata was read from people, and Harikathas used to happen in Bengal, Giti Alakya, like that and all, no doubt. But otherwise, studying scriptures, Upanishads and all, it was only confined to a few people, unfortunately. But after the advent of Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda, now the Vedas, Upanishads, Ramayana, Mahabharata, any scripture you take, it is accessible to every one of us. So like you can say, ready to eat, you will purchase in things when you are traveling and all. So like that, the religion and spirituality has been cooked up by Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda as a ready to eat, and it is accessible. Because when Avatara takes that form or takes that plan of action, all others are rest of them are supposed to follow, they are bound to follow. So today many even traditional monasteries and others are trying to teach these Upanishads and Vedas to others to a certain extent, at least, if not all, quite a few. So that's how Swamiji is telling the wonderful truths confined in our Upanishads, in our scriptures, in our Puranas should be brought out from monasteries, forests, and from the possessions of selected bodies of people. That's what we did. And if you see from Ramakrishna Mission contribution, if you see, we were the first people to publish many of the scriptural books in multi languages. Sanskrit books were available always, no doubt. Otherwise, one or two languages in a limited way, apart from Sanskrit. But if you see 100 years before or 50 years before and all, now a lot of publishing houses have come, no doubt. But earlier, 50, 70 years before, many of the scriptures in multiple languages, it came and it became authentic books even today. So, lot of publishing work, that Gnana Pravaha has been done from the mission. And irrespective of caste, creed, ethnicity, or country, we are open to teach Upanishads, Vedanta, and the Vedic wisdom to the people. And now, slowly, that is also followed from others. And that's what Swamiji is trying to tell. And this has to be heard, then upon, and thought upon, and then meditated upon. Shrotavyo, Mantavyo, Nididhasitavyo. That is from the Upanishad, Shvetashvatara Upanishad or Chandogya Upanishad. That's what Swamiji is telling. Afterwards, interestingly, Swamiji is quoting one shloka. It is seen in Mahabharata as well as in Manusmriti. That is, Tatah Param Kruta Yuge Tretayam Gnanamuchyate Dvapare Yagnameva Ahuhu Dhanamekam Kalau Yuge. In the Kruta Yuga or Satya Yuga, tapas was the main thing. So people used to sit and do penance, austerities for hundreds of years, deep meditation and penance. Then in Treta Yuga, Gnana. So they were deeply studying and discussing the highest thoughts, sublime thoughts. Dvapare. In the Dvapara Yuga, yagnas, different type of yagas, yagnas, they were interested and they were able to do big yagnas like Ashwamedha Yaga, etc. Then Kali Yuga, Dhanam. That is charity or selfless service. That is important according to the Vyasa. And quoting this, Swamiji is telling which can be, he is giving the gradations. The highest dana is what? Spiritual charity. By preaching Vedanta, by preaching the Upanishads, the wisdom, Vedic wisdom, Gita wisdom, all these things, that is. Afterwards, then the next below step is what? Giving secular education. Then below that, giving life through blood, maybe through blood or through, blood donation camps and etc. Then below is what? Food donation. So this type, he's giving a gradations of different charity works. Yeah. You've got a time for one more para, big para, or we will stop here?
I think we can do.
Okay, go ahead.
In this land of charity, let us take up the energy of the first charity, the diffusion of spiritual knowledge. And that diffusion should not be confined within the bounds of India. It must go out all over the world. This has been the custom. Those that tell you that Indian thought never went outside of India, those that tell you that I am the first Sannyasin who went to foreign lands to preach, do not know the history of their own race. Again and again this phenomena has happened. Whenever the world has required it, this perennial flood of spirituality has overflowed and deluged the world. Gifts of political knowledge can be made with the blast of trumpets and the march of cohorts. Gifts of secular knowledge and social knowledge can be made with fire and sword. But spiritual knowledge can only be given in silence, like the dew that falls unseen and unheard, yet bringing into bloom masses of roses. This has been the gift of India to the world again and again. Whenever there has been a great conquering race, bringing the nations of the world together, making roads and transit possible, immediately India arose and gave her quota of spiritual power to the sum total of the progress of the world. This happened ages before Buddha was born, and remnants of it are still left in China, in Asia Minor, and in the heart of the Malayan archipelago. This was the case when the great Greek conqueror united the four corners of the then known world, then rushed out Indian spirituality, and the boasted civilization of the West is but the remnant of that deluge. Now the same opportunity has again come. The power of England has linked the nations of the world together as was never done before. English roads and channels of communication rushed from one end of the world to the other. Owing to English genius, the world today has been linked in such a fashion as has never before been done. Today, trade centers have been formed such as have never been before in the history of mankind. And immediately, consciously or unconsciously, India rises up and pours forth her gifts of spirituality, and they will rush through these roads till they have reached the very end of the world. That I went to America was not my doing or your doing, but the God of India, who is guiding her destiny, sent me, and will send hundreds of such to all the nations of the world. No power on earth can resist it. This also has to be done. You must go out to preach your religion. Preach it to every nation under the sun. Preach it to every people. This is the first thing to do, and after preaching spiritual knowledge, along with it will come that secular knowledge and every other knowledge that you want. But if you attempt to get the secular knowledge without religion, I tell you plainly, vain is your attempt in India. It will never have a hold on the people. Even the great Buddhistic movement was a failure partially on account of that.
Yeah, so Swamiji is giving a clarion call actually to deluge the world or to soak the world with the Vedantic ideas and spiritual ideas. And he's actually he has packed so many things here from the historical perspective. And if you think that I am the first monk who went out from India to preach Vedanta, to preach spirituality, you are wrong, he said. And if you go, probably I will tell few references or maybe 2-3. If you see during Ashokan time, we have got a lot of references, well documented references that in Egypt, Syria, Epirus, all these places we can see very clearly from the edicts of Ashoka that from people from India, they went out and to preach Buddhism. And not only that, his own children, Mahinda and Sangamitra, they went to Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia and all, we know that. And the Silk Road and Chinese pilgrims, if you see, Kashyapa Matanga and Dharmaratna, I think, in the 67 CE Common Era, 2 Indian monks went to China and because they got an invitation from the Emperor Ming, one is Chinese emperor. So they went and they started preaching there. As a result, you can see the first Buddhist temple in the China, which is called White Horse Temple actually. Because they traveled through White Horse, that's the reason it is White Horse Temple it is called. Then in the 4th century actually, a scholar from Kashmir, Kumara Jiva I think, who went to the China and he brought Indian logic and philosophy to the history and all. Then Bodhidharma to the Tibet, or the China Zen Buddhism, a prince who turned into monk from the Tamil Nadu actually, who's called Bodhidharma. He left to the China and Tibet. He taught Buddhism. Then Takshashila, Nalanda, there are so many universities where people came from different corners of the southern East Asia and they learned. And if you say Pythagoras also was following our Indian philosophy. That's where we get a lot of things. And Padmasambhava, and there are so many other people. Then the ancient Greek records actually mention very interesting thing is what? Gymno-sophist. Gymno-sophist means, Gymno means naked, sophist means philosopher, naked philosophers. So there were, I think, at least Calanas and Zarmonokegas, I think. These are the 2 people Greek records mentioned, and also they mention Theraputa. Theraputa are nothing but in the Egypt actually. Egypt, we can say Jewish ascetic sect and all, but they were highly influenced by Buddhism. Swamiji also had the vision of 3 monks when he was traveling that side and all. So from that angle, Abhedanji says Christianity is nothing but the perverted form of Buddhism. And even they say that, I mean, Jesus Christ also got connected with the Buddhist monks and the yoga and other things. So whatever he taught, he learned from the Buddhist monks. So if you see, there are a couple of times, 2 or 3 times at least, the whole world was soaked to the greater extent in their own way from the spiritual ideas from the India. I think in the first or second lecture I have discussed all these things in detail. That's the reason I'm not going here. So whenever the world was in turmoil, whenever the world was in pressure, so India has helped them by giving spirituality. That's what Swamiji is trying to tell. And here you see, Swamiji has become a celebrity now. He could have taken the credit, but he's saying that it is only God's will. God has guided me and I have left. It is not that because of I went it happened and all. No, I am mere instrument. Everything credit goes to God. So real devotee and humble servant, how we should be. We do small work or little success. One event we conduct, 2 events we do, and if it becomes, then we want to be felicitated. We want to be done our names in a big letters. So Swamiji in those days, he went out. I mean, he taught Vedanta for the Westerners, and he opened the channel for all of us to come and to preach Vedanta and all. But in spite of that, such a groundbreaking work he did, but still he's so humble in his thing. So these are the few life lessons we can learn from these great incarnations and the prophets, how one has to develop the attitude, serving attitude. Even we should not have inferiority complex. At the same time, we should not also have superiority complex. So no complexities basically. Humbleness should be developed. Yeah. All right.
So Maharaj, here it is said that pre-Buddhist time. So is it that Angkor Wat and that?
Yeah, Southeast Asia, you can say,
Those are
Burma,
means Vishnu
Malaysia.
Mandir, no? That they are Hindu.
Yes. Not only that, even Greek, Rome, and all, they were all influenced by us. I think I shared with all of you earlier one article, India's influence on the world, isn't it? There I have written lot of with evidences actually. So even in the Greece and Rome and all, they had discussed. Even the Aristotle Swamiji mentions that a person who connected all the 4 corners of the world, that is Alexander is mentioning. So Alexander was asked, Aristotle asked his disciple Alexander, when you go to India, please bring a philosopher, because I have heard that India was known for the wisdom. India is full of philosophers. That's how he tries to take 1 or 2 people, and they go, and after preaching, they get self-immolated because they thought we have come out from our country, we have lost something, and they get self-immolation, they do it. So even Arabic numerals, they say 0 to 9. Actually, Arabic numerals, it is not, it is Indian numerals. Because in those days, 1st or 2nd century, there was a trade connection between us. So when they came here, they learned from us, and West was connected with the Middle East in those days. So, and they got from Arab. That's the reason they said Arabic numerals, 0 to 9 actually. But it went from India. Even in the mid centuries like 10th, 11th, 12th centuries, and a lot of we can see the development of science also in the Middle East. That was because of the influence of India on them. So India has given a lot of things, no doubt. And quite interestingly, Swami makes even the great Buddhist movement was a failure, partially on account of that. What does it mean, Swamiji here is, so Buddhism, or if not Buddha, the followers of Buddha, they neglected the Vedas. They denied the Vedas. As a result, Buddhism got extinct in the India itself. So from that angle, Swamiji is speaking. If you want to teach only secular and without spirituality, without Vedic wisdom, so you cannot sustain. The best example is what? Buddhism, according to Swamiji. So if you deny the Veda, you don't have a place in India. That's what Swamiji is trying to say.
Then Maharaj, what is happening now? That most of the thing.
So you see in 20, 30 years, 50 years, we speak all this. From long, you have to see from a long point of time. Things keep changing. Swamiji himself has said India will be rising, no doubt. So what we are supposed to do? we are supposed to understand our religion, and we are supposed to teach our children first and foremost ourselves, second for family members, and third, if possible, in and around society, we should teach, or we should try to share the ancient wisdom so that we can protect our culture and our country and our religion. That's what we are supposed to do it. And changes are coming and changes are going. We do not know after 50, 100 years what will be the situation. Now there are a lot of challenges are there, no doubt. And for that, we are also equally responsible. Ourselves or our forefathers are also equally responsible.
So if anyone has any quick question. Any quick question to Maharaj? So next class, when will be the
Next class. Yeah, next class we can have next week. Yeah, that's all. Afterwards, I think May will be difficult. Let us see. June also will be difficult. Yeah, so next week we shall have class. At least mid-June will be difficult till mid-June.
Okay, then we think that by next class this lecture at least will be over. One more day.
Hope so. We will try to finish it off.
So
yeah.
next week
Yes.
then. Okay.
Next week, yeah. Same time, yeah.
Same time, same
Pranam.
link. Yes, thank
Pranam
you.
Swamiji.
Namaste, Julie. How are you?
I'm fine. I just wanted to request that when you have this program details, if you can put Irish time also, so then I will save it in the Irish time. I'm in Ireland, so I would like to join whenever I can, and I can put it up with my friends because I miss the Indian time, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because
So
I think
whoever-
they use IST.
I-
IST is also Indian Standard Time, Irish Standard Time. That's where I think Indians, they don't understand. I think that's where people.
Yeah, and that's how I miss sometimes. I miss the timing. So whoever is designing it, if they can put it, it'll be good. So we can put it directly in Google calendars and then it get reminder, you know.
You are right. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, Swamiji, in Ireland. We are looking forward to see you all for the weekend, the retreat
Yes,
when
yes.
Swamiji is coming, and
Right,
more in
right.
future as well.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Pranam Maharaj.
Pranam.
Namaste,
Namaste.
Maharaj. Jai Ram Krishna Maharaj.
Jai Ram Krishna.
Maharaj.
Maharaj.
Yeah. Namaste to all of you. Yeah.